Alright, so in this video, I'm gonna teach you how to make a song just like Juice WRLD on FL Studio. I'm gonna teach you how to make the beat as well as the vocal effects that he uses. Before we begin, consider subscribing and hitting the bell for more videos like this. It's free and you can change your mind whenever you want. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so we're in the lab right now, and as you can see, I've basically got a song done right here. So I'm gonna teach you the basics of, first of all, the beat. So for the beat, we obviously need an emo guitar, whether it's an acoustic one, an electric one. That's usually the kind of thing he does. I know he does other stuff, but that's like his most iconic style. There are two ways you can go at this. If you want to create your own melody, you can get a free guitar plugin. Like for instance, I got Dynamic Guitars. What I would do is, if you want an acoustic guitar, use either acoustic or nylon. If you want the more grungy electric guitar sound, use the steel guitar. And then the plugins, get a free plugin called 𝐕𝐨𝐜𝐴𝐸, which is basically a guitar amp. And you can mess around with what kind of sound you want. If you want something a little heavier, space crunch, mini crunch, smooth drive, all that stuff basically helps you out. And you can either use a MIDI keyboard like the Akai MPK, or you can just do it on the piano roll. However, if you want to sample more than anything, my recommendation would be a free website called Looperman. And what Looperman does essentially is it lets anybody upload their own sample. So we have, like, for instance, Lil Keed, the Baby, J Balvin, flute, reggaeton, all that stuff. So what I would do is I'd search up Juice WRLD, and if you have a specific BPM you want, like a range or a specific genre, but I'm just gonna do Juice WRLD guitar. We have an array of different samples. We have that's nice as hell. I'm personally more on the side of making original melodies. That's what I do on the majority of my music. However, for the case of this, we want to speed it up. So I just downloaded a quick one, and this is basically the sample I used. The original sample was a lot slower, but what I did essentially was I put it to fit to tempo. I chose what tempo it was in. Right now it says 152 because that's the project plugin. Before it was like 130 or something. It would detect, okay, this is 130. Let's speed it up a little to 152, and it got me this speed. Now onto the drums, right? So you already know what kind of style it is. It's basically trap drums. I added a couple things. For instance, I added like a little perk over here. I added some chants, open hats. It's always nice to have a bit of a variety in the drum sounds, because if you just have a basic hat, kick, snare, obviously not that interesting, and you want to strive for like the coolest sound possible. So this is essentially what I did. You see, like the chant, the perks, the open hat, they're not the main focal point, but they just add a little more, rhythm to it and stuff like that. And I'd recommend, panning it a little bit, like, having this a little over here, like not crazy, but like, for instance, over here, over there, everywhere. It really doesn't matter. Just give it a little bit of an ear candy feature to it. What I did, just to spice up the drums a little bit, I put them all in the same thing over here. And what I would do sometimes, not all the time, but I would go on compressor and choose the drum preset, which just makes everything pop a lot more, especially in a heavy mix. Because my mix wasn't that heavy, I didn't really bother doing that, but I would recommend it 90% of the time. Finally, the 808. And what I did for the 808, the only thing I really added was a limiter. Keep in mind, it sounds a little too distorted here, but that's because I'm recording it. But once you render it, usually it sounds a lot better, especially under these settings. These are the settings you want. You can screenshot, do whatever. This is what I do for the majority of my rendering. I made a simple pattern, I would recommend adding, like, changing up the notes and stuff like that, but regardless. So putting that all together, you can already guess what kind of sound it'll go for, but let's talk about the vocal effects first. Yeah, this is basically what I did. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's start off with the plugins. And I have a video going into more detail about what effects I use and why. Click on the card. So we got, the compressor, these are the settings that I added. Maximus, go on the preset DS or split. You can move around with this, but I kept it like that. Fruity limiter, This is I put the ceiling at 11.6, negative 11.6 dB. And you don't have to do this. I personally prefer removing the low in the vocals, especially if it's if the voice is a little higher pitched. If you have a deeper voice, it really doesn't matter in my opinion. Although I would recommend removing about over here in this line in between the 20, in the middle of the 20. Sound geyser is sex. I'm gonna keep saying it till the day I die. And let's talk about the reverb. Reverb I added. However, I would actually add a little more. And the reason I only put it at about 15%, I would, yeah, like something like this. This would be a good range. Actually, like just around here. Don't make it too overbearing, but make it noticeable. You feel me? And then the delay, you can barely hear it, but it just gives a little more effect to your voice. And as for the auto tune, I would put the retune speed at like 14, 20, 30, around that, like around this range, and the humanize about around here. And the reason it might sound like a little too much, Juice is a pretty good singer, or was a good singer, R.I.P. And because of that, it's really just like a small effect you can barely hear in the background. It doesn't overtake much. I see your shadows in my room. Now, for when you're trying to sing like Juice, this is definitely not my favorite type of singing. I don't really make emo music. I make more psychedelic music. Thing about Juice, his style is much more emo. That's why he has like those really boyish vocals. If you listen to like, I don't know, Fall Out Boy's singer, something like that, that's basically the kind of voice you should try to emulate if you're really trying to emulate Juice. And as for the lyrics, you know, it's a mix of braggadocio, it's a mix of like emo, like kind of over dramatic, melodramatic, you know, heartbreak songs, which there's nothing wrong with it. It appeals to who it appeals to. My lyrics were kind of dumb, but I don't even know what I wrote. What the fuck did I write? Yeah, I am really scared. Money over everything. It's meant to say money everywhere, but what the fuck? Money over everything, where? And if we went into a past, running... I speak in riddles, man. That's just how aliens speak, bro. Once you're done with that, another very important thing that I would do, he takes a lot of vocal takes. Right now, it looks like there's only 2 or 3, but that's just to show you, like, I'll stop around here and then I'll go to this one. You know what I mean? So I would just say take a lot of vocal takes. All right, that's kind of like, you can hear it like in his songs. You can tell that he doesn't just do one take and that's it. So like, for instance, yeah, I'm really scared. Yeah, money over everything, money everywhere. Yeah, if we went into a past life. You see what I mean? Like, he doesn't record everything, just one vocal take. He does a lot of them. Is basically what I'm trying to get at. Also, I also had some like quick, ad-libs. Yeah. Score. Yeah. So keep in mind, many vocal takes, boyish emo vocals, and talk about heartbreak, and you've basically got it. Knowing all that, let's put it all together and let's, get the final product. Yeah. Call my trap phone. Yeah.
Oh my god, Rubio.
Yeah, I'm really scared. Yeah, money over everything, money everywhere. Yeah, if we went into a past life, running from a trap life, you might run or die. Ain't no game, this ain't half-life. Yeah, I'm really scared. Yeah, money over everything, money everywhere. Yeah, if we went into a past life, running from a trap life, you might run or die. Ain't no game, this ain't half-life. I don't know what I was doing at the end where I was like doing a million vocal takes, but I was just trying to emulate him. Don't come at me for how the singing ended up. It's not my style of music. Alright, that was basically the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit the bell for more videos like this. It's free. You can change your mind whenever you want. If you want to check out my music, I make psychedelic type music similar to what you get from like Tame Impala, Pink Floyd-ish, low-key. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.